We've always been the few that are rising up to the occasion, that are actually being awakened, because being awakened is not a thing that you achieve. It's not like a trophy. You don't get a spiritual trophy for awakening. You just get a blessing, because that's really all that it is. And it's not to say that that's negating it. It's not to say that it's derogatory or anything of the sorts. It is simply the case that waking up to this is a blessing. And in my book, I talk a lot about how we need to approach things with a sense of calm humility. And lately, I don't know about you guys, but I've been feeling that approaching things with calm humility is a real challenge right now. And usually, this happens when one of two things are happening. Number one is the challenges are occurring because there's a lot of spiritual growth. It's kind of like a growing pains for your bones. Remember when you were a kid and you had all those growing pains and it was just hurting and it was just hurting and it hurt. That's kind of what it is. Or number two is that you're leveling up to the degree in which now you have to think differently to be differently. And in order to be differently, you have to think as if you are already being differently. And it seems like there's something big coming. I don't know, maybe it's just where I'm at in my own spiritual walk, but this world is just so chaotic that I really don't know how the world is being held together. Like when I look out at the society that we have, and I look out at the people that are in our society, because the men and women around you are your men and women. And when I look out around, I have no clue how society is being held together. I really don't. People are more toxic and chaotic than ever. Relationships are just null and void. Nobody cares about real relationships anymore. Nobody cares about adding value. Everybody just wants to take, but they don't even know what they're taking. Some of them don't even really know what they're taking. They just have a sense of wanting to have something. But the problem is that you, again, can't really approach things. Like if you can't approach things with a sense of calm humility, it's going to be really, really difficult for you to even see what's actually valuable going before you, because you're going to be responding emotionally rather than with clarity. And it can be very challenging, especially if you're trying to build something, if you're trying to create a business or whatever the case is. It can be very difficult to see the difference, if there's a real difference between this emotional clarity and then emotional regulation that you're trying to do while building the business or building whatever it is that you're building. And for those of you that have never even tried to really do a business before, you're not going to understand what I'm saying. And the people that have tried to do their own business and start their own business, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, because there are no rest days. There are no rest days when you have your own business. There's no rest days at all. And the only thing that you can do is take breaks. And even then, it's like you can't even afford to take a break sometimes, even though your body is screaming at you not to take a break, because you have to do this. Nobody else is going to do it. The responsibility is on you. And if you want the certain kind of results in life and in your business, it's going to have to be on you. Like, yes, you don't have to do everything, but if you want to have your vision come to life a certain way, it's not my job to ensure that people are going to fully understand everything that I say. But what it is my job to do is to make people better than what they are, because that is how I live my life every single day. I aim to be better than I was the day before, and even moment to moment. I know I'm not always going to succeed, but that is my aim. And so when we come in here into this physical plane, because the way that I see this physical plane is that it's a shared construct of reality. Like, what is real and what is true is not always the same thing. Now, what is true is usually good, but what is real is not always good. So it's real and it's true that evil is real, but that doesn't make evil good, right? But you also have to think beyond the domain of good and evil, because this is what I think Nietzsche was really trying to say, is that if you are focused too much on what's real, you're never going to really know what's true. And because the thing is that what's real is a lower dimension or a lower plane of consciousness than what's true. What's true is a higher plane of consciousness, because we are interdimensional beings. And if we are sharing the reality, this construct of reality, the way that we truly are, well, then we are all interdimensional beings participating on timelines that lead to time fullness or timelessness. And if you go into time fullness, you're basically going into collapsing timelines over and over and over again. But if you want to do timelessness, you want to move into timelessness, well, you might have a lot of collapsing timelines, but you might have one timeline within that, however many timelines are on, that's absolutely solid, that's absolutely stable. And genuinely, the only timeline that I feel is really stable is what I know in my soul. Every timeline that I see out here in the physical, like, I don't know how people take the physical world seriously. You can see how dedicated people are to talking about, oh yeah, how real the physical material plane is. And it's just like, have you ever seen anything apart from what's in front of your face? I mean, the whole what you see is what you get thing, I don't buy into that at all. I don't think what I see is what I get, hardly ever. I don't think that's ever truly the case. Like, I can see things, but it's like people want to deceive a lot of the times. People want to make you the issue. They want to make you out to be the whatever person, when in reality, in real time, if you want to talk about timelines, timeline being real or timeline being fake, in real time, you're just trying to live in truth. You're just trying to walk in spirit and truth. And that's really what it's all about. But the thing is even walking in spirit and truth, like, what do you imagine when you hear that, or where you see that in your mind? What do you envision that to be? What is walking in spirit and truth meaning to you? Because to me, it means to recognize that the body is something absolutely to take care of, but it's only going to be through my spirit that I understand and can configure and reconfigure my body and my mind. Everything first starts with the spirit. I don't get healthy. Like, I was almost 200 pounds at one point, right? I was fat and I was a hefty boy. And the only reason that I wanted to get in more shape is because I realized that my spirit needed it. And I wasn't operating to my fullest extent spiritually by being fat and lazy and just eating pizza and ice cream and playing Fortnite and just just doing nothing with my life. Because I didn't want to. It's not that I didn't want to do nothing. It was just like, what is all this for? I feel like I'm just waiting to die. A lot of the times, even now, I still feel that way. Like, I still feel that everybody wants a higher purpose. But the thing is, the higher purpose is just living. Everybody wants to believe that they can change the world or do this stuff and all that. Even myself, I'm guilty of this. And the thing that I've realized is that wanting to change the world is futile. the world, and I'm not a black pilled person or anything like that, but it's like in many ways, we're all just kind of waiting to die. And you can, all that you can do is pass along that information that you've learned and the wisdom that you've learned. And that's really it. Like that's really all that we can do. And it doesn't negate your life. It doesn't mean that your life is meaningless. It just means that the meaning of your life isn't really what you thought it was, and it wasn't what you wanted it to be. And that's okay. You know, that's all right. It's kind of a bummer for a lot of people. People don't know how to handle it because they think, like a lot of people that follow Christ, for example, or any other kind of religion, because I truly think that Christianity is a cult or exhibits cult-like behavior. And this is coming from someone that follows Christ, okay? I see Christ as truth. I don't see Christ necessarily as a person, only a person anyway. I don't see him as only a person in a book. Like he is, like, I do see that, but I also see that Christ is the light of truth. Christ is the light of truth emanating through each of us and this whole divinity existence as a whole, or rather the divine existence as a whole. But still, I see that that's what's going on. And I see the people that are so caught up in the external reality. They think that no, like it has to be this way or else what, dude? Or else what? Why? Here's a question for you, seriously. Why carry a cross if you can carry a guitar? Seriously, why would you want to carry a cross if you can carry a guitar? Who exactly says that you have to carry a cross? Oh, well, Jesus says. Okay, well, can you verify that Jesus existed physically? Well, no. All right. But we can verify through the story that he exists, right? Well, yeah, through the story of the Gospels. Because look, okay, if people want to get upset about this, it's like, look, you can say the Shroud of Turin, you can say whatever it is that you want about Jesus, that Jesus Christ was a physical man. The thing is that nobody can truly verify it. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real. Nobody can truly verify it. I'm not denying the importance of it. I'm just saying that we can't really verify it, okay? So what does that mean then? Well, that means then that the story of Christ, the story of what he's talking about is more important. But it also, I see the whole existence as a parable. This whole existence is a parable of life. And when you're restructuring your life and you're reorganizing your life, you have to see life differently, of course. Of course. You have to see it differently. Otherwise, you're going to get lost in the sauce. And you're going to lose yourself in yourself. And that's not really, well, depending on how you look at it, it's actually a really good thing. But the point is that, okay, Christ says to carry the cross. Well, we can't verify that he truly existed as a physical person. It's not to say, again, I'm not denying him. I'm just saying that that's just a fact. We cannot truly verify. We have a lot of inklings, but even those inklings are not very, inkling-esque. So then, okay, well, now what? Well, we have the story of Jesus Christ and the teachings. I live by the teachings of Christ. And it's not that I only live by the teachings of Christ, though. Like, I live by teachings of truth. So anything that is truthful and is a lesson per se, whether morally or just how to live life better, I don't care. Like, this is one of the reasons I brought up my book, right? Like, I've been reading my book again recently. I seem to have these spouts where I don't really read my book and then I kind of go back and I read it for a couple days and I really get into my material because, well, it seems to me that if you can be inspired by your own work and by your own creative faculties, then I think that's a good thing. And that's exactly what's going on. Like, I'm being inspired by my own book. And so I'm going through and I'm reading some of this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, that's just true. Like, I remember writing these sentences, but I don't really, like, I don't think I realized even in myself what I was truly writing as far as a timeless sentence in that moment. I just knew that that's what I was seeing in that moment. And now it's like my past self was writing to my future self, which is now my present self. And I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, okay, oh, okay. And so I see that as Christ. I see that as the light of Christ because it's the light of truth. If I weren't able to comprehend the symbols on the page of my book, which are the words, then I wouldn't be able to actually see something happening in my own mind, right? Like, think about ancient Greek or Latin. Maybe a lot of people haven't ever read ancient Greek or Latin, but maybe you have, right? If you picked up ancient Greek, because I've been reading a little bit of Aristotle's cosmology recently, and some of it is in Greek that I'm looking at, and I'm like, holy crap! There's only like 24 letters in the alphabet of ancient Greek, but man, like, it's so crazy because you can look at it and it's just gibberish. If you don't understand what that's actually saying, it's just gibberish. It's not going to transform you. And so it's the ability, like, when the Bible says the Word was with God and God was the Word, that's exactly what it is. Like, God is the Word as like, because words are light, essentially. Words are vibrations and electricity, like formulations and electric impulses that are emanating from a being. It is light by all intents and purposes. I mean, you watching this right now, if you're not understanding me, you're just hearing sounds. Okay, you're just hearing sounds. If let's say you speak only Chinese or something, and I'm speaking English, you only hear sounds. You don't really hear something that is transforming you. Well, the word, when you understand the word transforms you. Language is the determining factor in which how we bring the archaic into the present moment. And so when I'm recognizing these things and I'm seeing these things and I'm trying to like learn ancient Greeks like subtly while reading Aristotle, it's like, oh, okay. Because Aristotle wrote many truthful things. In fact, I've like taken a philosophical and spiritual hammer in Aristotle recently, and I'm having a hard time figuring out where he was wrong, really, because he's very much so right about a lot of things. And there's a reason why he's been so influential for thousands of years, right? And here's the thing, even if Aristotle wasn't real as a physical person, which we do have evidence that he was a physical person, but even if he wasn't real as a physical person, it's his teachings, it's the story of his teachings that are passed on, and it's the light of the words in those teachings that transforms us. And that's really where we have to recognize that that's the story of Christ. The story of Christ is that it's so powerful that just hearing it and understanding what it's actually saying transforms you in of itself. You don't need to see Jesus Christ physically dying in front of you in order for that story to have a big impact on you. And yet at the same time, when you can experience the totality of that light of Christ within you with that thing, then things start to happen. But really, though, I think that that's what this is going to be about in the upcoming days or weeks or years, is this something big that's happening is that we're reformatting language. Like social media, for example, is reformatting language and how we view life and how we view things. And a lot of people are like, well, if I can't really determine what's AI and what's not, then why even be on social media? That's a good question, because AI is going to be essentially a tool for good, or it's going to be a weapon for evil. And depending on how you use it, it's going to determine, how you inflict consciousness as a whole. But remember, you can operate outside of that good and evil domain. You don't have to operate in spiritual warfare all the time. You can choose to live beyond that. And maybe truth and truthfulness will give you a test to really see, like, okay, well, you're thinking a certain way. Now it's time to be a certain way. And are you ready to be that certain way? And can you think a certain way in order to be it? Or are you going to get so caught up with what's going on within you that you emotionally regulate yourself by trying to hurt other people? Because that's really what a lot of people ultimately do in the long run. They emotionally regulate themselves by hurting other people. I don't want to hurt people, but I have to be in self-preservation mode, because my job is not to change the world. I'm not here. My destiny is not to change the world. It's to keep the light of the truth, the light of Christ, whatever you want to call it, that higher source within me. It's to keep that protected, and it's to take care of myself and to be responsible for myself. Because again, I like responsibility. I like knowing that what I do and what I have full control over is going to be my wins, and what I lose over, it's going to be my losses. And I can adjust accordingly with that. But anyways, guys, I hope that this message was useful and insightful for you. We went pretty deep today, but that's exactly where, that's how we do it. We don't just talk about things. All the Regal Change old timers know that, this is about more than just the surface. And yes, the surface is important, but it's not everything. It's not everything. So I hope that everybody, if you've gotten stuff from this and you're interested to talk more about this, check out my one-on-one offers for one-on-one sessions, or the Godlike Mastery Program, or you can join the Regal Change Academy for free in the free tier. We also have the premium tier. The free tier gives you access to the community. The premium tier will give you access to the group calls and the classes in the community, as well as the community itself. So I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace. Until next time.